Bureaucrats discuss ditching greatest good for equity in FEMA disaster planning meeting. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, is the Department of Homeland Security outfit tasked with stabilizing and assisting communities after a disaster. In the wake of Hurricane Helene, the Biden-Harris agency has come up short, leaving some hard-hit communities to pick up the pieces all alone. Critics have reviewed possible political factors that may have undermined the agency and its ability to adequately respond to this deadly disaster. After all, the FEMA website indicates the agency's top strategic goal is to instill equity as a foundation of emergency management, signaling a possible subordination of utility to ideology. The X-account End Wokeness shared a video Sunday from a March 2023 disaster preparedness meeting indicating ideology has indeed infected FEMA's core considerations. FEMA Emergency Management Specialist Tyler Atkins, a manager of the Office of Resilient and Ready seminar series, who refers to himself as they, notes at the onset of the viral video that LGBTQIA people and people who have been disadvantaged already are struggling. They already have their own things to deal with, so you add a disaster on top of that is just compounding on itself, he said. And I think that is maybe why we're having these discussions, Atkins said, referencing the broader topic of the preparedness and mitigation considerations specific to non-straights. A woman identified on screen as Maggie Jarry, a senior emergency management specialist at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, said, "There are a couple of things intersecting in my mind here. One is a culture of emergency management as an organization, as an industry in the United States specifically and not abroad." After taking a moment to excuse her cat's interruptions, Jerry noted, "The shift that we're seeing right now is a shift in emergency management from utilitarian principles, where everything is designed for the greatest good, for the greatest amount of people, to disaster equity. The apparent federal push away from helping the greatest number of Americans to prioritizing help for specific types of favored Americans was driven by the Biden-Harris administration, particularly by President Joe Biden's June 25, 2021 DEI executive order. According to FEMA, underserved communities as well as specific identity groups often suffer disproportionately from disasters. As a result, disasters worsen inequities already present in society. This cycle compounds the challenges faced by these communities and increases their risk to future disasters. By instilling equity as a foundation of emergency management and striving to meet the unique needs of underserved communities, the emergency management community can work to break the cycle and build a more resilient nation. The agency added, proactively prioritizing actions that advance equity for communities and identifying groups that have historically been underserved or disproportionately affected by disasters is critical for their resilience. Disasters and crises, therefore, present federal bureaucrats with opportunities to refashion the country, in their view, into something more equitable. According to FEMA's 2022-26 strategic plan, diversity, equity, and inclusion cannot be optional. They must be core components of how the agency conducts itself internally and executes its mission. This apparent obsession with groups' immutable characteristics and sexual preferences would explain why in the same disaster preparedness meeting, Riley Hurst, a financial management specialist at FEMA, spent time concern-mongering about the possibility that illegal alien transvestites, those for whom Kamala Harris would have taxpayers fund sex changes, might be misgendered in shelters. And responding to the video, Elon Musk wrote, "Saving American lives should be priority number one." One user noted, DEI ideology is a social scourge. FEMA is presently working hard to combat what its chief Dean Criswell has characterized as dangerous narratives regarding its bungled hurricane response. It's presently unclear whether it will be similarly vigorous when preparing for and responding to Hurricane Milton, now headed for Florida. This is from The Blaze, and it's on DNYUZ. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.